Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapple Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today on the podcast, I want to have a bit of a chat about how awesome you're doing. I know we talk about some intense stuff on the podcast, but there are a lot of people out there that are doing really awesome despite all the challenges that all of us are facing right now in the coffee value chain. So today we want to talk about that a little bit. And before we get started, I want to shout out to our Coffee Roasters Mastermind group and everybody that's in the Coffee Roasters Mastermind group. They are so much fun to be a part of. We have wonderful discussions that when I leave them, I'm constantly thinking, how come I never thought about that before? We had a conversation recently about how flavors suck, and that really got me thinking about a few things that I'm thinking of doing in the future with coffee, and it's shifted my perspective on it. So thank you to Ante Bikic, who is our head coach, and thank you to everybody that participates in the Coffee Roasters Mastermind group. So you are doing awesome. And the reason I want to tell you that you're doing awesome is because, oh man, have we had it stacked up against us since March 2020, and even before that, when life was sort of normal. But since March 2020, the coffee industry has had to adapt and adapt and adapt and adapt. And that's across the whole value chain. We have had 8 balls thrown at us constantly. And we've been constantly behind the 8 ball. And being able to understand where we're going to next when we don't know what's coming next is so difficult. And yet, you've survived. Your business may not have survived. Your career may have been something you decided to pivot out of. You may be reassessing everything that you're doing in the coffee industry. You may be utterly exhausted. But our deep love for coffee keeps us coming back to this hospitality industry. It keeps us coming back with the intention of creating community, and we're trying to find a way to adapt and keep moving forward. I 100% believe that our industry is in a huge era of change. In some parts of the world, that's going to change a lot slower than in others. I live in major cities, wherever I live, and so you usually see change happen a lot quicker than that. The pandemic, together with coffee shortages that are happening globally and all the shipping issues that are going on and all the other things that are compounding how challenging this is, are really accelerating the rate that things like automation are going to need to happen. They're accelerating the rate at which we need to consider increasing coffee prices. All of this stuff is really challenging. And yet, if you're watching this video, you're still in the industry. And for that reason alone, you're doing awesome. You may feel like shit. You may feel like everything is stacked against you. But if you are watching or listening to this episode of the podcast, you are part of a group of people who tend to want to look at the coffee industry differently. You are a part of not being a part of trends and fads, and you are here for the long haul. You are in touch with the challenges that really exist, not just pretending that they don't exist. So thank you for being so awesome. Thank you for continuing to show up for the industry. And thank you for continuing to show up for yourself. I'm not a woo-woo person, but I definitely believe that if we set our intentions on what we expect to get and we work our asses off to get there, knowing what we're prepared to sacrifice in the pursuit of those expectations, then I think we're all going to come out of this okay. Those of us who operate under the guise of getting things done. So I hope that your exhaustion isn't getting the best of you. Keep going. If we can ever be of any help, in the Map It Forward sphere, let us know, reach out. You're not alone and we're here for you. Please consider subscribing to this channel before you click off this video. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.